All right, well, I've already done my introductory videos, but I wanted to do kind of a course overview. So my kind of goal here is to go through a lot of these links on the left-hand side and kind of just walk you through some of the things in the course. That said, I'm going to do some separate videos for probably the syllabus and calendar, and also for the weekly lessons. But I'm going to do a general overview of most all the other links along here. So first of all, whenever you come into the course, you'll see this announcements, and I would this is kind of an important place. This is where I send you. This is where I post stuff that I want to make sure you see. Now that said, whenever I post an announcement, it automatically sends you an email, so you will have access to it that way. But you want to be paying attention to this. This is one of my few ways to get a hold of you. And when you get something from me by email or see it on an announcement, please pay attention to it. So the next link down is instructor information. And there you see a little picture of me on the right-hand side, kind of distorted. It gives my email and work phone. I am much more reachable by email than by work phone. One of the advantages of being an online instructor is that I can be at home doing whatever and still working. So I don't have to be up at my office, and frequently I'm not. So that said, I am very reachable by email. I have one of those smartphones that alerts me every time I get an email, and I am pretty prompt. I many times will get back with you immediately. Sometimes it'll be an hour or two. At the very latest, it would be a day, but that's pretty rare. Most of the times, I'm get back with you within a couple hours. Um, if you are on the MU campus, my office is in the Math Sciences building, room 109A. That, for those of you who are familiar with the Mizzou campus in Columbia, it is in between the rec center and Stankowski Field. And it's also right across the street from Strickland and kind of catty-cornered from the Student Center. So anyway, that's the Math Sciences building, and that's where my physical office is. I do sometimes have office hours, and that kind of depends on the semester. I don't tend to have office hours face-to-face in the summer. I have it mostly by appointment, but I certainly do during the school year. But what you're going to do is you're going to check this for your particular semester and see what's going on. I always have office hours by appointment on campus and by appointment through Blackboard Collaborate. That Blackboard Collaborate is kind of an online meeting software, and it's actually, if you'll look down here, if you look at the very bottom link on the left-hand side, you see that Blackboard Collaborate online office hours. So I am always available by that and by appointment with for face-to-face as well. So that's that. That's the information. So if you wanna remember how to contact me, let's just click on this syllabus calendar and grading. I'm actually going to do a separate video on the syllabus and the calendar and task at a glance, but this is going to be where a lot of the information is in your class. You'll see the course grading scale here. This is the grading scale we start with. If for some reason it's a particularly tough test and students do poorly, I may curve this down a little bit, but for the most part, it'll stay fairly constant throughout the semester. There's also this Math 1100 online grade estimator, and that's going to be really useful after you take a test, and I'll try and talk more about that along the way in the semester. But that will help you kind of calculate, if I were to get this score, what would I need to get on the rest of the tests in order to get a C in the course or in order to get an A in the course. That's a really helpful little piece of software. Okay, so like I said, I'll come back here in a separate video and go over those. Okay, how to schedule exams. if you want to click on that along the way. This tells you what your test dates. Now again, these are going to vary from semester to semester. This is I'm talking about spring 2015 right now, but you may be watching this video at a later time. It tells you the test dates, and it tells you the dates, the appointment deadlines, the deadlines for scheduling your exams. So you're going to be scheduling your exams with Mizzou Online, and this gives a bunch of information. So this would be a great place to go look and learn about how to schedule exams and all that kind of stuff, because that's an important part of the course. There's also information on that in the Getting Started link down here. Okay, so that's how to schedule exams. If you go to My Grades, so along the way in the course of the semester, these are going to be populated with different percentages, and that's something you can always come check. Here is this online textbook. Here's an online textbook. So what we did is we worked really hard to make it to where you guys didn't have to purchase a textbook. And so that's why we used one that's available online. Now that said, most of you will probably not be using this online textbook. I make video lectures for each of the sections, and most people tend to just watch the video lectures and not use the textbook. But that said, you have this available to you if you need it. So if you kind of scroll through this a little bit, I'm going to go here to the table of contents. Now this is the table of contents just for this prerequisite chapter, chapter 0. So, but these are live links. So for example, if I want to go to 0.7 quadratic equations, I can click on that link, 0.7 quadratic equations, and it takes me here. So, and each section, let's see, oops. Yeah, each section has in it has a kind of an overview, and it's working problems and stuff like that. And then so you could read through that if that was helpful to you. And then eventually it gets to some exercises. So this is another source of exercises if you'd like to have some extra exercises, and there's the answers to them as well. So that's the online textbook. I'm gonna also go to the next part of it, so you'll see that I think it's around 140 is what I want to say. So I'm going to scroll up here to I have to go up to past chapter 0, which is around, I guess it's page 143. So here's the rest of the book, right? So it goes up through chapter 6. So I'm going to click on another section. Let's say I click on section 1.3, Introduction to Functions. So if I go to here, here's another section. So anyway, that's your online textbook, and you can use it as makes sense to you, but you certainly do not have to use this. By the way, I want you to remember the sections I went to. That was section 0.7, quadratic equations, and section 1.3, introduction to functions, because that will be a question after you watch these videos. Okay, so that's the online textbook. Next link down is WebWork. This just gives kind of a general overview of WebWork. And it's got an active direct link to WebWork. So if you go here and click on that direct link, it's going to take you to WebWork. Now WebWork is the program where you watch all your videos, do your lessons, and do your graded homework and online quizzes. So you'll need to log in here, and it'll take you to a screen where you can go to the different lessons here along the left-hand side. So for example, if I click on lesson A, that's actually that's where you're finding this video, right? So I think you've done this, but etc. So that's your WebWork. So back to this. This kind of gives an overview of WebWork. You can always access WebWork here. I guess I do want to point out look at this troubleshooting. If you're having trouble accessing WebWork, read through that. Those are helpful to pay attention to. One thing I will coach you on right now, I would recommend you don't use Internet Explorer as a browser. It just seems to have problems, particularly when we get into graphs. So, but here, it's got some suggestions to try if you're having trouble with WebWork, etc. Okay. So that's WebWork. Now this is not how you're going to typically go into WebWork. Typically, your way to access things is to go into the weekly lessons. That's where you're almost always going to is going to those weekly lessons. And when you first get into this course, I'm hoping that you're going to the Getting Started menu and really working through that systematically, because that's going to make sure that you're kind of on top of things for this first week, and it's going to be important. So that's how you're going to access all your homework, is through these weekly lessons, not through going up here to WebWork. Okay, so other online resources, you can look at this. These are just some from past semesters. Students have suggested some different online resources, and if you come up with one that you'd like me to post, I will. So that's just kind of access at your own for your own benefit. There's also, next link down is this NetTutor. And this is free 24/7 online tutoring, so where you have a live person that you can chat with and ask questions to. So if it's the middle of the night that you're working on stuff and you get stuck and you can't, I'm probably not going to answer your questions in the middle of the night, you can always come here to NetTutor, and that should that will get you to somebody that can answer your question live. Like I said, I'm going to skip this weekly lessons as well because I'm going to do a separate video on that. But let's just go down here to discussion board. So if you go to discussion board, there's a couple of threads here that are already started. The first one is, once you start working through that Getting Started menu, you're going to see that your first quiz, quiz A, you're not going to get credit for it unless you have done two things. One, you're going to need to have posted an introduction of yourself, and that's what you will do here. And the other is you will email me and set up either a face-to-face or an online 15-minute visit with me so that I can just say hello. So this is one of the necessities in order to get credit for Quiz A, is this Getting Started introductions. So if you clicked on that thread, it would take you to a place where you can click on the introductions, and you can either create a new thread or you can reply to this thread that I've posted. So I just want to learn a little bit about you. I want to get to know you, and I'd like other people to be able to read a little bit about you too. So, and it says a little bit about what I'm looking for as well. So if I go back to the discussion board, there's one other thread here, and this is questions and comments. And here's where if you want to post some questions or comments for the whole class to have access to, it's a great place to do that. I love it when students do this because it is a way to stay interactive with each other. But you can also always email me privately as well, and I'll answer your questions. So that's the discussion board, and then here is we talked about already, this Blackboard Collaborate. So there's a video here that shows you how to use the Blackboard Collaborate. So there's that should be helpful. Oops, I didn't mean to click on that. It'll go into Integrity Recording. Anyway, you can watch that. And then there will be a link down here that you'll be able to click on that will say something like Susan Frank's room or something. There'll be a link with a kind of, typically has a little purple circle, and you'll just click on it and it'll take you into Blackboard Collaborate. Okay, that's enough for this video. That's a little overview of some of the course stuff. Like I said, I'll come back and post on the syllabus, the calendar, and then come back and do something on just the weekly lessons.